Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Springfield Township Board of Trustees meeting. It's April 8th, 2025, approximately 5:30 p.m. Mr. Burning, can we have a roll call, please?
Yes, Ms. Braun?
Present.
Mr. Honolo?
Present.
Mr. Burning?
Present.
All the trustees are present.
If everyone could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. If you ladies would like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Walk around.
Go around front. Oh.
Just to do this first.
Invite the coach and the team up while you do it. Kim.
In recognition of the Winton Woods girls, you guys want to come up? Coach? In recognition of the Winton Woods girls basketball team winning the 2025 Division II Ohio State Championship. Way to go, ladies. Whereas the Winton Woods girls basketball team finished the 2025 season with an undefeated record, they were the only undefeated team in Ohio. And whereas the team defeated White House Anthony Wayne High School in the state championship with a score of 70-55 on March 14, 2025 at the University of Dayton Arena. And whereas the demanding athletic competition requires the highest levels of skill, determination, teamwork, and focus, and selfless commitment to others. And whereas these outstanding high school players have represented themselves, their families, their school, and their community proudly. And whereas Coach Carlton Gray led the team through the state tournament. Now therefore, the Springfield Township Board of Trustees hereby commends, congratulates, and gives special recognition to the Winton Woods High School girls basketball team for its extraordinary achievement, and hereby proclaim April 8, 2025 to be Winton Woods Girls Basketball Day in all of Springfield Township by order of the Springfield Township Board of Trustees, Hamilton County, Ohio.
Let the coach say something.
All right, let's all squeeze in really tight for a picture.
Before we take the pictures, these girls have been running all over the place, and we truly appreciate the recognition. We appreciate you all having us, and I don't think a lot of these girls realize how many townships and communities we were representing. We're very honored to be here. Thank you for having us. And a lot of these girls are still playing AAU basketball, so some of them were missing practice. So when they leave, when we get done with this, if you see them leave, please don't be offended.
I'm sure they don't want to stay here.
Thank you very much for having us.
Very nice, thank you, congratulations.
Congratulations, everyone.
All right,
circumstance.
Yeah, man. Hey, it's a big deal. State title.
Tough to go undefeated.
Huh?
Tough to go undefeated.
Right,
You
yeah.
have an off night somewhere along the line.
Right? And to be the only team undefeated in the whole state.
Boys and girls.
Right?
Where'd everybody go? All right, Mr. Vernon, can we have the approval of the minutes? Or am I going to do? I'll do
You
that.
do it, I'll just call the vote there, Mr. Bernie.
Regular session, March 11th, 2025. Special meeting, March 12th, 2025, for ZC 2025-001, 9811 Leak Crest Road, and our regular work session on March 25th, 2025. Do we have a
We have a
motion?
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And can we have a financial report, Mr. Browning?
Yes, for the month ending March 31st, 2025, the township expenditures were $2,126,025.18, and the receipts were $900,517.68. That gave us an ending cash balance of $21,518,186.81. Including those obligations are expenses, payroll, regular operating costs, ongoing capital improvement projects, and investment. What I request of the board is to approve the receipts, warrants, payroll expenditures, update and current revenue and reports for the period ending March 31st, 2025. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you so much. And I want everyone to know that our financial reports are available here at the Township Building during regular business hours or on our website 24/7. Thank you, Mr. Burning.
Thank you, Mr. Burning. Mr. Gilbert, do you have departmental actions and discussion items?
I do. Thank you, Mr. Burning. This evening, we have 3 action items. The first being a liquor permit hearing request for OTR Escape LLC for the OTR Funplex at 13 Mary Street, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45216. I think that is a new user in an existing building that's going to request a liquor license because the new use is one of those escape rooms that I think everyone's familiar with and people enjoy to go to, except for me, but some people do. And so they will be installing one of those in that building and a liquor license request as a result. I don't believe we have any objections, do we, Director Bly?
No, we do not.
No objection. So with that, I would just request a motion to send the requisite paperwork to the Ohio Division of Liquor Control.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next, I have set the date and time for the equalization hearing for the completed Wildbrook Acres resurfacing program. That program started in '21. We just finished it last year. It was a fairly large project, a lot of infrastructure improvements. With that, I think we are requesting at our next regular meeting at 5:15. Is that correct, Ms. Kennedy?
That's correct.
So that would be at our May meeting at 5:15.
May 13th.
May 13th. If that's okay with everyone, I would just request a motion to set that date and time.
That works for me.
I will actually be out of town.
Oh. May.
May.
I will be out of town.
You'll be out of town too?
I'm out the whole month, almost in May.
Maybe we better.
Oh, wait, it's on the 13th?
Yes.
I'll be back.
Just changes plans on the fly. So, all right, perfect. So can we have a motion then to set that date and time since I will have a quorum?
So moved.
Perfect.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Joe?
Joe?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Sorry.
Sorry for the stymie there. Last action I might have is to authorize the administrator to sign the agreement with Colerain Township to provide first responder service into our neighborhood of West College Hill. As the board remembers, and for several years now, we've had a similar agreement with Colerain Township to provide first responder service into Pleasure Run Farms. And the reason we do that for these particular neighborhoods is because given the geographical constraints of our community and the fact that we have some areas that are detached from the more larger portion of the township, it creates a service delivery issue for us in terms of response time. So contracting with these adjoining communities allows us to get to our residents a little quicker in emergency. And as opposed to taking advantage of the mutual aid agreements, we enter into a contract with them to provide first responder service to get into those calls quicker, start providing treatment while we're on our way, and then we would end up doing the transport. We have similar agreements in our Edgemont neighborhood as well as our Hollydale neighborhood. Again, areas that are difficult for us to get to in our, typical what we would expect from a normal response time. And so as a result, we've had these agreements for some time. This agreement isn't any different than it has been in the previous years, but it just renews that agreement with Colerain Township. So with that, unless there's any questions, I would ask a motion to authorize the administrator to sign that agreement.
The only thing I would say is, as a board, we've been dedicated to the idea that everybody in the township should get the absolute best emergency services, paramedics, fire, and that's the reason we do this. Some of our satellite areas are harder to get to, take a few more minutes, and we want everybody to have the same top-notch service. So that's why we make the effort to do this. But with that, I'd make a motion to approve the agreement.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And I will say is, in addition to, obviously, the most important reason why we do it is to get to the emergencies quicker. It obviously saves us millions of dollars in expenditures as well, because you can imagine if we had to build satellite fire stations to service such small populations in these fragmented areas of the township, it would be in the millions of dollars to build and staff those stations, whereas these agreements probably total somewhere in the neighborhood of $110,000 to $115,000 a year, as opposed to millions of dollars a year we would spend in housing and building fire stations in these remote areas of the community. So it definitely makes sense all around. Moving on, discussion items, looking at the personnel update from last month, we had really only activity in the Public Works Department where we had the promotion of Shane Schuchart as a full-time laborer from a what we refer to as an 1820 laborer. He's moved up to the full-time position. No other activity in any other department. So with that, I'll turn it over to Kim for a community events and programs.
Thank you. This weekend, on Friday and Saturday, our Arts Connect kids are doing their theater production of 101 Dalmatians. There are two shows on Friday and on Saturday. One is Fridays is 6 and 7:30, and on Saturday they have a 3 o'clock and a 5 o'clock showing. Tickets are $10, and those are at the Finneytown Performing Arts Center. On May the 10th, we are hosting the 8th Congressional District Art Show. That is an art show for high school students in the 8th Congressional District, and that will be held at the Grove Event Center. The public is welcome to attend. And then on May 17th, you'll start to see signs going around. The Artisan Fair will happen back on the big grassy field between this building and the Art Center from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. I also did want to mention that we are getting ready to do the installation of the electric box project. So we have 18 different electric boxes going down Winton Road. It's about 3.8 miles from North Bend all the way down to Lake Ridge. And installation on those the artwork installation on those boxes will take place April 15th through May 15th. We'll have a bunch of different community engagement projects that'll happen once they're all installed.
Great, thanks, Kim.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Before I conclude, with departmental activity reports between police, fire, and public works, I would like to say that, to those in attendance, and obviously the board, we've discussed this, just like everything right now in this country, prices are going up. Energy prices are no exception, and as township residents, you may be aware that since, gosh, for the last 21 years, we've had community utility aggregation programs here in Springfield Township where we went out onto the market with our energy consultant and purchased, or actually, we didn't purchase, we entered into agreements with alternative energy suppliers to provide residents with cost-saving measures as compared to what Duke's utility costs would be. Unfortunately, I'm here to say that those prices are going up. Duke's price, starting in June, is going to be somewhere close to 10 cents per kilowatt hour. And our current rate is 6.78 cents per kilowatt hour. So we had the choice to where we had to go out on the market and find an alternative energy supplier that could beat Duke's rate. Or we were simply going to allow everyone to go back to Duke and not renew our program because we didn't want to put residents in a position to where we were actually paying higher rates than what Duke's default rate was. I did get a contract today that allows us to lock in a price at 9.45 cents per kilowatt hour. That is almost a 39% increase to where our previous program rate was. That's the best rate that we could get. The only alternative is to go back to Duke, and I already told you what their rate's going to be starting in June, which is going to be well over probably 10 cents per kilowatt hour. What the industry is saying is it's related to simple supply and demand, that there's more demand than there is supply, and in order for these suppliers to increase their supply of electricity, and they're going to increase the generation costs associated with that. So just like everything else in our lives are going up, utility costs are, and electric rates are too, just in time for summer where we use the electric. And I wish I had better news. But this board doesn't set the rates. We simply go out on the market and try and find the best rate we can from alternative suppliers, and that's where it landed. Just shy of what Duke's is going to be. So while I wish there's better news, that's where it is. Now, the silver lining to that is the way our contract is structured and the way we're able to work with our supplier is if rates come down in the forthcoming months, we're able to blend that rate and hopefully lower your rate as we get into summer and into the fall. But that's really going to depend on what the market does. I mean, energy is traded on the market just like any other commodity. So we have to watch the market and see where it goes. But we had to lock in, if we didn't lock in the price today, who knows, as if you've watched the news, who knows what the market's been doing over the last few days. Tomorrow, maybe our best price we could get would be north of 10 cents per kilowatt hour. I don't know. So we had to take a gamble and lock it in just shy where we know Duke is going to be. Other communities are in the same boat. Colerain, Green Township, they locked in rates. I think they're 0.4 of a cent lower than us just because of when they entered the market. There are other communities like Anderson Township where their rate they locked in is going to be higher than what ours is. So it just depends on when you enter the market. I mean, those stocks are trading all day long, and it really is dependent upon when your contract is up for renewal and when you're able to sign the agreement. So we'll be putting additional information out through our social media channels, but you will see, again, like I said, almost a 39% increase in the utility electric rate if you're in our aggregation program. If you're not, and you want to stay with Duke, you can opt out. But I can already tell you that their rate's going to be higher than ours, at least in the beginning of the month. So maybe you can find another supplier that will give you a lower rate, but you can't control what they're going to do to you throughout the duration of that contract. Ma'am?
Is it the same sources of energy as the last contract?
You mean the same company?
Yeah.
It's a different name. The previous company was Energy Harbor. This is going to be Dynegy, but Dynegy bought Energy Harbor, so essentially it's the same company.
And just so you know, your bill's not going to go up 39% because there's a lot of carrying charges and billing charges and all that kind of thing that go into the bill. The electric is not a significant part of that.
Just the electric generation.
Right. So it's not like your bill's going up 39%, but
It's the price per kilowatt hour of
the electric that you use.
And, and I'll have to say that our brokers that have gone out over the years have done a good job for us. We have consistently beat the Duke price, usually by a much larger margin than this. And they've saved, in a result of having this program, we've saved millions and millions of dollars for the citizens of Springfield Township. Pretty much every community these days that cares is doing their own energy program. In almost without exception, a community energy program is going to always beat the people that are calling you up on the phone one-on-one and saying, we want to, be your energy supplier and we'll send you this or that. Those, because they're trying to get people to sign up individually, they can't offer the rates that a big supplier will come in and say, we're going to give all Springfield Township, or all Coleraine or wherever this rate. So you're almost always better to be with I've never seen a case where you were better off to go to one of these ones that's out trying to do it, with phone calls and stuff. You're better to be in the community program.
Well, and additionally, those other programs outside of ours will charge you if you wanted to opt out of the program during your contract term. Whereas
Yes.
ours, there's no charge to opt out of.
Yeah.
To your point, Joe, since June of '23, the average household has saved somewhere close to $360 by being in the program for electric. So by being in our program.
By being in our program.
They have saved, on average, $360 since June of '23. Now, will that be the same case going forward? We'll just have to see what Duke's rates do. Duke's rates change constantly from an electric standpoint, but I do know in June, like I said, they'll be close to 10. And the prediction is that because where the wholesale market is, where they buy their rate, they could be upwards in the middle of the summer to 12 cents per kilowatt hour. So just wanted to make the public aware of that, that we'll be putting out information that gives more information. And if you have additional questions, hopefully the information that we put out will answer those for you. Actually, Channel 9 just did a news story on this about 3 weeks ago and did, I think, a pretty good job of explaining where the utility rates are going, at least in this region of Ohio. So, beyond that, see what's going on in the police department. Chief Niehaus.
Good evening. I think this was a good opportunity and a good time to remind our residents of a few crime safety tips, especially right around the springtime as we enter springtime, or at least I hope we're entering springtime, especially when those warmer days. I think what we see in the warmer days is the residents want to get out, start working in their yard. What we find is they go out into their sheds, their outbuildings, and their storage facilities, and they either find some of their equipment missing that might have been taken over the winter times or over those periods of time where we just aren't out in the backyard. And to make sure that while they're out there working in the yard, that we're securing those outbuildings. Unfortunately, during this time of year, we do see increase in thefts from those buildings just because they're susceptible. At nighttime, we see them go from yard to yard trying to remove property. So it's a good time of year to be vigilant, especially out working the yard, to make sure we're securing those and making sure our backyards are well lit and using those security cameras when they're available. And I think secondly, and probably most importantly, the police department continues to rely upon is and extremely dependent on the relationships that we've built in the community and in each one of these respective neighborhoods. Essentially, our residents in these neighborhoods are the eyes and ears for the police department. They know what is commonplace activity in their neighborhoods. They know who lives in their neighborhoods and then what's normal and what's not normal for their neighborhoods. And we just want to, once again, encourage them when they see things that are out of place and don't seem right for the neighborhood to pick up the phone and give us a call. Unfortunately, and typically, when we get called to these residents for the reports of crime, oftentimes we hear that, oh, we saw this or we saw that activity that really didn't look right, but we just didn't want to bother the police department. And we want to encourage our residents, when you see those things, pick up the phone and call us. We'd rather come out and ensure that nothing is wrong and everything is in order than to either miss the opportunity of preventing or solving a crime. We really want to ask those residents when they see those things, please reach out and give us a call and let us come out and take a look.
Perfect. Thanks, Chris.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Thanks. Good idea. Chief Miller.
Good evening. I just wanted to remind the residents that we do have our storm spotter class tomorrow at the Grove from 6 to 9 or 6 to 8. The Hamilton County EMA and National Weather Service will be doing this program. They are asking people to register. However, if you're unable to, please just show up and we'll make sure you get registered at the door. So it'll be from 6 to 8 back here at the Grove. And it's not only just for Springfield Township residents, it's obviously for communities that surround us as well. Also wanted to just mention, in 2022, we did a complete overhaul of our township's emergency operations plan, and every 3 years, we are required to update and review that plan. So over the period of 6 months or so, I'll be getting with all the department heads and administrative staff to really dig into that plan, review it, and update it as needed. I don't see any major changes to it, but we will probably do a couple additions as far as some new resources and some new information at the end of the plan. So last week, with all the storms and everything, we actually did kind of open up that plan and use parts of that emergency operations plan. I did want to just highlight, we obviously have very good working relationships with Public Works, Police, and Fire. We all work very well to day-to-day operations. But I did want to highlight just some things. All of our supervisor staff, all of our personnel last week, I mean, we communicated constantly each and every day before the storms hit, during the storms, after the storms. And I just want to say how well everyone worked to really over-prepare for this event or this couple-day event that we had. So obviously in our world, we like to be over-prepared and hope nothing happens. So luckily, we only had some minor incidents that occurred in Springfield Township, but working well with the Army Corps of Engineers, with Winton Woods Dam, Hamilton County EMA, and other local partners, I felt we did really, really well as far as our emergency operations plan. So
I agree. The communication's been great. They are not fearful anymore that the lake is going to spill over, correct?
That is correct. So the Army Corps of Engineers was concerned when they were calling for all that rain and everything, but Sunday it actually did crest, and so it should be going down. So they're hoping within a week or so it should be back to normal levels.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Yep.
I bet a lot of residents aren't even aware that there's actually a dam on that lake and the purpose of the lake. If that lake wasn't there and that dam wasn't in place, a lot of communities on the Mill Creek would cease to exist.
Right.
And so I think there was a lot of very fearful people this weekend about what was going to happen with that. And fortunately, crisis averted. But I do know that Great Parks, they have their administrative offices at Winton Woods. They actually had sandbags all around the building because they expected it to crest and flood their building. So. But I mean, that's the purpose of the lake. It's a giant bathtub, right?
That's correct. Yep, it's a giant pool.
It was created for that purpose, but it happens so infrequently where we have these scares that I think some people forget actually what the purpose of that property is. It's a beautiful park, but really what it is to prevent half of Hamilton County from being underwater.
And we worked well with Great Parks too. We actually had our drones doing some surveying Winton Woods for them. Some of our the township drone pilots who are members of the Hamilton County USAR team, they were actually out the past couple of days with the USAR team, helping other neighboring communities as well. So,
perfect.
Yep.
Thanks, Chief.
Yep. Thank you.
Scott, Public Works. I know we had a meeting this morning, and you shared with me sort of where we ended up in our tally over the winter storms.
Yes.
I think. We had several snow events, and this is another thing that I think, is important to let residents in on, is that snowstorms and us going out and plowing, and why you guys do an exemplary job of that. And I think there's probably no other Public Works department, frankly, anywhere in the region that does a better job of clearing streets than Public Works Department here in the township. Those storms cost us material and overtime in excess of $250,000. So every time we go out and we salt the 400 streets in the township, how many ton is that, Scott?
We're over 300.
300 tons. Every time we go and we salt the 400 streets in the township. Salt is almost $80 a ton. So that's a lot of money being hauled around in the back of those dump trucks being thrown on the road. We do the best we can to get the most out of that product, where we mix it with some liquid solution to have it stick to the road. But you guys do a phenomenal job at that, and it's not an inexpensive service to provide, for sure. So I know the brush service picked back up.
Yeah, we started brush service April 1st. We've probably had over 100 stops already, and that doesn't include the storm damage that we did as well.
Yeah.
We're probably sitting on about 150 stops to date.
Okay. So if you all have brush, if you're out cleaning your yard and you don't have a place to get rid of it, bring it to the curb, call the line, and we'll be out as quick as possible to pick that up for you. So, speaking of that, I think this is a good time to talk about, for the better part of a year now, we've approached in our department in terms of internal operations, we started to look at government service more as a hospitality type business, in that we want to make sure residents not only obviously see a service that's efficient, effective, that does exactly what it's supposed to do, but it makes residents feel good about receiving that service well. And if there's something we can go above and beyond and take care of for them while we're out there, we'll do that. But we really see our job as more of a hospitality business as opposed to just a service-oriented business. And as a result, in order to allow us to be even better at that, if you call and you request a service or we provide service to you, you may see, we may drop off one of these cards for you. It has a QR code on the front. It tells you who provided the service to you on the back. If you scan that, there's a survey there. If you can let us know how we did, if there's anything else we can do to provide the service any better next time, we'd love to do that. It's a way for us to learn that what we're doing, is it working for you as residents? If it's not, we want to hear about that so we can improve it. But we really see, you all have choices where to live. You all have choices where to spend your money and buy a house and live. And we understand that. No differently than you have a choice of where you're going to go to eat or where you're going to go on vacation. We know that's the case. You voluntarily choose to live here. And so we want to make sure that the service we're providing goes beyond what government typically provides. And we think that for you to receive hospitality, it should really come from where you live first. And you shouldn't have to go outside of here and seek service that makes you feel good about receiving it. So that's what we're here for. We obviously are not going to be able to do everything that anyone asks. And believe me, we've had some pretty crazy requests. But hopefully through explaining why we can't do it and in turn telling you what we can do instead, we want to make sure people feel good about choosing to be here and make sure they continue to choose Springfield Township as well. So if you see those cards, that's what they are. Our staff, from our department heads to the people out there providing that service, really have adopted the hospitality mindset. And you see them out there, don't hesitate to ask them if you have a request, if you have something you want them to do, give us a call. If it's within our ability, our legal means and our financial means, we'll be more than willing to do it. So if you see those cards, that's what they're about. So we appreciate you taking the time to fill that out. It literally would take you 2 minutes. It's a series of 3 questions, 4 questions, something like that. So, with that concludes departmental activity reports. Unless there's any questions of the board, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Gilbert. Next, we have resolutions, and we only have one tonight, resolution number 25, 2025, declaring nuisances pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 505.87 at various listed properties within Springfield Township and authorizing statutory actions necessary to abate the nuisances. Do we have a motion?
So moved. Go ahead.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Braun.
Aye.
Mr. Honla.
Aye.
Mr. Burning.
Aye.
Resolution carries.
Do we have any old business in front of the board?
I do
New
not.
business?
Not that I'm aware
No,
of.
not this evening.
Okay, next we have citizens' participation. If anybody would like to speak to the board, if you'd come up to the microphones, give us your name and address. And while they're speaking, if everyone could be quiet and let them speak, I'd appreciate it. So anybody who would like to speak, come on up.
I didn't want to cut in front of anybody if somebody was first. I'm Charlene Myers. I'm with Focus Cincinnati, and as you know, we provide meals once a month with Holy Trinity St. Nicholas and 7000 Winton Road. Our meals are really growing. I wasn't able to come in to address council or address the trustees during December, January, and February. I was seriously sick with bronchitis and you name it. But did want to tell you, if I didn't get a chance to tell you, that our Thanksgiving meal that we hold every year, we had 188 guests, which was really exciting. Right now, our monthly meals, we're serving about 50 guests per meal, and that's pretty constant at this point, that we see about 50 guests per meal, which is pretty exciting. We also have a weekly food pantry that we're seeing between 20 and 30 guests, and we serve sandwiches now at the food pantry, and we also have fresh fruits and vegetables at the food pantry, which is really exciting, and our guests really love that. So again, I welcome you to come. Our next meal this month is, let me pick it out, sorry. April 22nd at Holy Trinity St. Nicholas. It's at 5 o'clock. And I'm going to leave some flyers to the Art Center if that's okay. And thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to speak to the board?
I don't like public speaking, so this will be the first time in a while. But I would like to address a property in Green Pine Acres that is...
Can you give us your name and address?
Oh, I'm sorry, Emily Stansel.
What is it?
Emily, Emily Stansel, Stansell.
Your address?
2056 Persimmon Court.
Thank you.
So there is a property in Green Pine Acres that is owned by Vinebrook Homes, and they acquired it in a very large portfolio, maybe 200 homes at one time. They didn't seek this house out, apparently. They deal in like one-level brick ranches. But this home is right next to my home, and we've lived there 6 years. There have been 3 renters there. None of them have been on the lease. They are being sublet by whoever is qualifying to be on the lease. The police are not strangers to this address. Dog wardens have been out. The fire department has been out. They don't mow the yard. They throw diapers in the grass. They neglect animals. We've adopted one of them, and I tried to just adopt a second one. They were left, the first tenant that was there probably 2019. When they went to clean the house, they found 3 dead dogs in cages. I'm going to start crying. And the second renter left 2 dogs in the house when he moved out, and it took me 3 months to get this dog out. Nobody could do anything. And we now have this dog who has major health issues. The last tenant had a Dalmatian puppy in the house for 6 months that did not see the light of day and did not walk, and nobody could help me. I finally went to the Vinebrook office and told them that there was an abandoned dog in the house and that the woman was only coming every 4 days. And Vinebrook came out and sent a courier and did verify that there was a dog in the house in so much fecal matter that he wanted to cry, and said that he would leave the door open if I wanted to, wink, wink, go in and get it. And I did, and went up to my mom's farm for 3 days where this dog ran and played and had the best life, and then the police told me I had to return it because that would be a felony. And this woman has scammed Vinebrook many times. She's been evicted from multiple properties. She was not on the lease. It's been a gut-wrenching week, and I can't continue to live next to a house that animals are being abused and neglected. They shot through my bedroom window with a BB gun. Her children did, one of 3. I have some pictures. This is the property next door to mine. That trees down, fences rotting, there's termites. They've had to recarpet. They spend $20,000 every 6 months to fix that house up, and they get 1 month of rent from these people, and they know their rights, and they know they can squat there for 6 months before they're evicted. And this is this is not something that Vinebrook. The woman that I spoke to was very helpful. She was their construction manager. She has had this house on her list for a long time, and was appalled at the recent events, but said that she would put in to see if it could be sold. My fear is that it would be sold to another rental company, and the nightmare would continue. As residents of this township, do we have any rights against rental properties and slumlords. And, I mean, the animals don't have any rights. But do we have rights? I have children. It's a safe neighborhood. Half the people in here live in Green Pine Acres. They're all retirees. They keep their yards up. It's almost like a deliberate assault. So.
Well, first of all, thanks for coming, and I apologize that you've had to deal with this. You know, sort of contrary to what I said before you got up and spoke, and obviously we want to provide the best service we can. Unfortunately, sometimes we're sort of handcuffed with laws that are either federally sort of implemented or at a minimum state implemented. To answer your direct question, can we do anything to prevent rental property? The short answer is no. We can't legally prevent anyone from buying a piece of property and renting it out. That is a federal law that we can't, go against. However, what we can do is enforce the codes that we have on the books, and in seeing that property, there may be things that are against Springfield Township from a purely maintenance standpoint, okay? That doesn't address the rental aspect, but so indirectly, can we control rental? Well, in the sense that we can ensure that they maintain a minimum standard to our codes, and if the people owning that property and renting it out don't want to maintain that standard, then maybe they decide they don't want to rent it anymore because they don't want to have to abide by our codes. So indirectly, that's a way. So what I'm suggesting, though, and looking at this and hearing your story, and obviously I think you spoke to Miss Kennedy, and she's kind of, we have obviously meetings throughout the day, and she mentioned to me that there's this issue that we may have to deal with. So what I'm going to do internally is get with my department heads and police department and figure out what can we do legally. And obviously, our law director isn't here tonight because, ironically, she's a huge dog person too, and she's at home tending to one of her, I think, 6 or 7 dogs she has. So she's not here tonight for that reason, but I will speak with her too and see if there's anything legally we can do. Okay. I think at a minimum we can reach out to Vinebrook, and I can have our attorney sort of word a very strongly worded letter to them.
Mm-hmm. I would buy the house, whatever, even to just knock it down.
Sure.
So if they would just relinquish, you have enough properties and they're short-staffed.
Yeah.
And she said it was not a house that they would normally buy because it's a wooded area, it's cedar, it's just a money pit. Those are her words. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what I can promise you is that we're going to do everything we can within the law to address it. Ultimately, is that going to be enough? I can't say, but I can assure you that we'll do everything we can within our legal ability to deal with it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And once we figure out what we're going to do, we'll reach back out to you and kind of give you our game plan.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
If I could say a couple things on this. We just passed a resolution this evening declaring nuisances at 9 properties in Springfield Township. 4 of the 9 are owned by LLCs. This is not a problem that's particular to Springfield Township. It's all over the neighborhood. I mean, it's all over the county. I represent the Hamilton County Township Association on the Hamilton County Land Bank that's overseen by the Greater Cincinnati Port Authority. This is a big problem in many communities. I know we've had a group of people that are trying to work on some sort of a resolution to it. It's complicated. You can, if you're going to be too punitive, then people are going to say, well, you're discriminating against poor people, or you're discriminating against renters, people, but by the same token, everybody's got rights. And what they're doing to your neighborhood and the neighbors there, that's not right. And you shouldn't have to, you deserve better than that and shouldn't have to live in that. So I will tell you that we, at the land bank, there's not been any, it's an ongoing discussion, and we're trying to come up with something that could legally help address it. It's not, not just Springfield Township, but the entire region. I wish I could say we have a, magic answer, but we don't right now. Yes, ma'am.
So each person here represents an individual house in Green Pine Acres. So as a community, is there anything you can suggest to us?
I think nothing more than really what you're doing tonight is letting us know of these issues and don't wait until they pile up. Let us know, even the most acute issue that you notice, and then we'll do our best to address it. But I think just being here tonight and advocating for your neighborhood and be patient with us as we work through this and we try and figure out a solution, both for the problem globally, but more importantly and more, quickly, this particular property.
So we're going to look at it and judge this property with the laws that we have, our maintenance, our property maintenance code. We'll be looking at criminal, violations, possibly safety violations, anything we can. And sounds like there's all kinds of animal cruelty going on. So those are things that we will be trying to address, focus in on this property and try to address. Unfortunately, the Ohio Revised Code, it's great. If you have high grass, we can take care of it. There's a whole system, mechanism. That's what we pass one of these every month, and even in the wintertime. And if you have junk on your property, that's something that we can address.
In that one picture, there was mattresses and stuff. Call the township, and if they don't move it, we'll move it and charge them for it.
We
They
charge
can't
a
leave-
lot.
What?
We charge a lot.
Yeah.
We have to go out, the landlord's not going to be happy because it goes on their tax bill.
Yeah.
They can't get out of it.
Thank you. Does anybody else like to address the board?
One thing I do want to bring up this evening, because I think this is going to happen before our next meeting, and I don't know who might, I think it's Scott, is May 3rd the tire recycling day in Springfield Township?
Yes, first Saturday of May.
First Saturday in May. If you have any tires laying around your house or whatever, and can you give us the details on that? Where do people go? What?
Sure. Right to our Public Works Department, 952 Compton. We'll have signs there. You can just make one loop around. Won't really have to even get out of your car. We'll get them out of the car, out of the truck for you, put them in a dumpster. It's part of Keep Cincinnati Beautiful is where we get the dumpster. It's kind of a grant situation there. Every year it's well attended. Anywhere between 350, 400 tires is generally our count. So them are tires that, could they end up out on the road somewhere? Maybe, but it's usually a great success. Township resident, we come in, we just check residency, and it's very painless for the resident to drop them off. And that is 9, I believe we got it at 9 to noon. Don't hold me to that, I should know that, but don't hold me to that time frame. 9 to 1, sorry.
Caitlin's going to fact check you.
Okay, got it.
9 to 1.
But it's Saturday, May the 3rd. Yes. Okay. That was the only thing I had.
You could do issues with tall grass. What about large tree branches laying on a roof for over 6 months in a house that's, someone's there, someone's not there?
Just tell us the address.
Give us the address, yeah. That sounds like property maintenance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, for sure. And, because we are so big and have so many, you heard 400 streets, some of this has to be complaint driven, so it helps, we can't see every house at every time. So if you see problems in your neighborhood that's creating the mess that this is, please tell us. And we love to hear from you. You can come to our meetings, but you also don't have to wait for a meeting. If you want to contact our staff, they're going to, it's going to get to us. They're going to get on it, and we will do everything we can to, to rectify the situation.
don't hesitate to call, because that's why we're here, and that's why they're here. So don't feel like you're putting somebody out, because they're here doing something every day. They can certainly go take care of a problem
And
in your neighborhood.
contrary to most governments you call, someone will always answer the phone here. There is no automated answering. There is no please,
During business hours.
please no listen to, because our menu options have changed, even though we know those never change. We don't have any of that. You call here, somebody will answer the phone.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.
Thank you all for coming. Don't be bashful.
Yeah.